Hi guys, it's your boy Shinobi Sage and I'm doing something new on my channel. I'm going to be explaining the whole Blue Lock third selection arc from start to finish. You heard me right, gentlemen and ladies. If you're watching, welcome, subscribe. Since the first season is over, I wanted to cover the arcs following the second selection. I'm gonna have to divide this arc into parts because it's way too long to put into one video. So guys, just sit back, enjoy, and welcome to the third selection. Let's get it. Let's pick up where the first season left off. Ego just informed all of the Blue Lock players about the big match that will take place in 3 weeks against the Japanese under-20 team, who will also have the football prodigy Sai Itoshi on their side. If the Blue Lock 11 win, the players will be granted a position on the national Japanese under-20 team. If they lose, the entire Blue Lock project will shut down and all of their football careers will be effectively over. Raichi asks Ego that since football is an 11-a-side game, how will he be choosing the players? And Gagamori chimes in as well as saying that some of the players will have to play as midfielders and defenders, which is insane as the Japanese under-20 team will have actual defenders. Ego admits that this will be the case, but he will have to create a team regardless of the circumstances. He then announces the top 6 players of Blue Lock based on current evaluations. The top 6 are as follows: Number 1, Rin Itoshi. Number 2, Shido Ryusei. Number 3, Karasu Tabuto. Number 4, Otoya Eita. And number 5, Yukimiya Kenyu. Isagi listens intently as names are being called out, with a final 6th player yet to be called, and he hopes to join the ranks of the top 6. Ego announces the 6th player, and he's none other than Nagi Seishiro. Yukimiya, the 5th ranked player, questions Ego on what exactly separates him from being the number 1 ranked in Blue Lock. Ego explains that it's simply because during the match against the World 5, the only players who scored a goal against them were Rin and Shido, and secondly, Ego took into consideration how many goals each of the top 6 scored in the first selection, and the World 5's personal evaluations. Ego then explains the rules of the third selection. The top 6 will be split into pairs of 2 to make 3 teams. Next, the 29 remaining players will get to decide which team they would like to join, and they will be added to their chosen team in randomized groups of 3 to make a 5-man team. Once they have been added to their team, each of these teams will get to play 1 game against one another. This means that players not in the top 6 will have only 1 chance to play to prove themselves in order to join the Blue Lock 11. These matches are basically set up to see how each player will match according to the top 6's playstyle. But since each of the 29 players will be divided into 3, one team will be a member short, so Ego announces the 7th ranked player who will have to play in 2 matches, and that player is Bachura Meguru. Isagi looks surprised that Bachura was evaluated as number 7, and he thinks about how he's still behind his competition. As the top 6 proceed into a different room, Ego expresses to the remaining players that in order to clear these tryouts, they need to assert themselves and coexist with the top 6. The fact that the top 6 are players that have considerable strength and ability to score goals, each of the remaining players must become an irreplaceable entity alongside the top 6. And lastly, go on and surpass them. To you all, the top 6 are there to be challenged. They are your greatest opponents. They are not your fellow comrades to fight alongside. Steal their thunder, use them as stepping stones. Now, within the next 24 hours, you must choose the ones who will hold the fate of your future in their hands, your greatest possible teammates. After announcing the new rules for the third selection, the remaining members of Team Z sit down and eat together, and they end up reminiscing about their old teammates who didn't make it, such as Naruhaya, Imamura, Iemon, and Kunigami. Bachura is surprised by the fact that Kunigami could fail, as when they played together he was strong. But Chigri reminds them that this is how it is in Blue Lock and they shouldn't focus on that now. Rather, they need to think about defeating the under-20 team. Raichi asks the group if they chose their teams yet. Igaguri is going with Team A, Gagumaru is thinking about either teams B or C. Bachura says he's going to pick a team randomly as he'll get to play in 2 matches. Bachura then asks Chigri if he's chosen yet, and Chigri hasn't decided. Chigri asks Isagi, and before he even says anything, Bachura knows it's either teams A or C. With Team C, Isagi will be able to create a chemical reaction combo with Nagi, which he has done when he played with him. But if he wants to surpass his own limits and discover his own unknown potential, he'll pick Rin. Isagi agrees with Bachira's analysis, but he wonders that if he plays with Rin, there's a high probability that he'll get buried without standing out. So it's either he chooses a player who he has an established foundation with, or jumping straight into the hands of his rival. Later that day, Isagi and Barrow both have a conversation, and as usual, Barrow belittles him for not being able to choose. Isagi asks him if he's decided, and Barrow wants to get away from Nagi, and he believes that he wouldn't get any better by playing with the same players, as he wants to show his dominance as the king. He reminds Isagi that he still wants to crush him and tells him not to get buried in Blue Lock. As he leaves, Nico pulls up and he decides that for his team, he will pick members where his players can go through so he doesn't get pushed aside. He's truly living the lesson that he learned from Isagi to steal the spotlight for himself. All of you have undoubtedly proven your place as Blue Lock's elite. I have tuned each of the teams A, B and C with the pairs that will allow for the most theoretical attack power. Show me new attacks that you couldn't do alone. Think of the other as a tool to make you the best striker in the world, and don't you dare have your position taken by someone not in the top 6. The football that you create will become the blade that destroys Japanese football. Remember that. I want you to all rise up to the challenge. Isagi is in the monitoring room watching footage of the previous matches, struggling to choose a team to select. Ryo is also struggling as well, and Isagi is surprised, thinking that he will go with Nagi. But during the second selection, where Nagi left him for Isagi, all he wanted to do was to get revenge on him. But seeing how far Nagi's progressed as a player, it seems that he'll never be able to catch up, which is affecting his confidence. But he also knows that if he doesn't play with him, the gap will become more wider between the two. Isagi agrees with his sentiments, and so he finally makes his decision and decides to be with Rin, and he thanks Ryo and tells him that he isn't going to regret this decision and he's going to prove himself. The Blue Lock players have already casted their votes, and the day of the tryouts begin. As all of the players gather into the waiting area, Isagi, eager and waiting to play his match, remembers what Ego said, that each player must assert and coexist in this match, so he must give it his all. Each of the teams are shown on the screen with their respective players. Isagi and Bachira have chosen Team A, while Ryo decided to choose Nagi's team in order to better himself as a player. The rules are as follows. There will be 5 matches played by teams A, B and C, where each player will be chosen at random to play once. Because Bachira is the 7th best player in Blue Lock, he will play 2 matches, one as a part of Team A and will partake as a member of Team C in the last match. Players will not be allowed to view each other's matches. The first match will commence, being Team A versus Team B. The first player on Team A is Nanase, the second player is Hiyori, and the third and final member of Team A is none other than Isagi Yoichi. The opponents are also chosen at random. First is Shiguma Kyohei, and the second is Sara Madara Kairu. The third and final member of Team B is the Scarlet Speedster Chigri Hyoma. Now that each of the players have been selected, they all wear their respective bibs and pass through the gates. Isagi feels a little tense about these tryouts and facing Chigri, and so are his teammates. Isagi, Nanase and Hiyori all get familiar with one another, and Isagi's nerves have calmed down and he somewhat feels at peace with these new teammates being down to earth as opposed to the overdramatic and emo assholes he's dealt with in the past. The 3 of them, filled with determination and ambition, step onto the pitch. There you all are, you small fry interns. You, Isagi, they're here, Team B. You guys are on defense, okay? For real, no talking back. Let's go. The rules are the same as in the second selection. The first to 5 goals wins. Time to explode. Pipe down, you blonde roach. Just shut up and follow me. With this match, I will prove my worth. Hi guys, I hope all of you enjoyed that video. If this is the type of content you enjoy, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe and share the video. There's more videos coming up on the 3rd selection. There's going to be a lot of action chapters following this, so pray for your boy because it's going to be a lot of work. But guys, I really enjoy making these videos. It's very fun and it helps me to be much more creative. I do it for my own personal enjoyment, but I also do it for you guys. So thank you to everyone who's taken out the time to watch this video, comment and subscribe. I hope you stick around, and yeah guys, until next week, stay blessed.